Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
PD Beats here from Popternative, speaking to Emilija Baranac about Fakes, available in Canada on CBC Gem and in the rest of the world on Netflix. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
It's so great. Is it starting to now officially hit you that people are able to see what you've been working on? It's pretty crazy.
It's very, very crazy. I think I was freaking out leading up to the release, but now that it's out there, it feels nice. I'm really happy that people can finally watch.
How much did you know about the show when you were auditioning and cast for it? Because I feel like it depends on the situation, the project, but did you know about the different perspectives? Did you what did you know going in raw specifically?
Yeah, so we definitely knew about the two different perspectives, and if I'm not mistaken, I think they sent us perhaps the first and second episode, which really helped because I think then you understood oh, okay, this is kind of different, I think. But yeah, I mean, that definitely helped because in the auditions I think we had scenes that were from both the first and second, and that would be, your performance would be different, in the different perspectives.
I feel so as an audience member watching this, it's so crazy when end of episode. So first episode is all your perspective and everything, or you don't even know that. You're just watching it, right? And then it's no, this is what happened. When you were reading that script, were you kind of oh wow, we're really kind of bringing the audience on a ride early on? We're not even 5 episodes in, and it's what? You know what I mean?
Oh, totally. Yeah, I think I just think the writing is so smart, because even when you start the show, you think you're gonna get these answers and find out why is Zoe in jail and Rebecca's living her best life, but then you're wait, what? What the heck? It's just just a testament to the writing. It's so good.
Was that something that excited you specifically about the role? Because that's kind of unique, right? Filming the different perspectives and everything compared to other things you worked on. Was that something that you were really excited about with the show specifically?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've never worked on anything like that. I mean, the fourth wall breaks, that was so new to me. Staring into a camera as an actor, you're told, never do that. But then now it's we had to. So, that was really fun. And just to even do, a comedy, too, for me was, my first. So, yeah, no, it was so fun.
And Emilija, again, is back with the Netflix family, right? You worked on the To All the Boys franchise. So it's pretty cool, right, that you're back working on a Netflix project?
Yeah, I mean, I love Netflix, and I'll keep working with them as long as they have me.
One of my favorite things about the show, and specifically about your character Zoe, is, and this is probably something you haven't heard a lot about, so I'm really excited to tell you this, because I'm telling you, this is straight up my favorite part. Yeah, there's a good the banter, there's a lot happening. Zoe's facial expressions, and I hope you know what I mean by this, okay? It's the best part of the show. When she's dealing with Rebecca, when she's dealing, you're just what? You have 10 different facial expressions that are just hilarious.
It's really funny that you say that, because I didn't realize that I could do so many different expressions. I swear, while we're shooting it, I don't know. I'm just hoping that I'm doing, a good job. And then I watch it and I'm what? What in the world is going on with my face? But no, thank you.
Episode 1, where we meet the first scene where we officially start to really meet Zoe and Rebecca is the car scene, when you're picking up Rebecca and you're jamming to the song that I have on my Spotify. I believe it's Unavailable is the song.
Correct.
And that's where the facial expressions, she Rebecca's like really getting into it. And you're just like, oh my God. And you have like the hat on and you're just like, what is going on? I love that scene so much.
Yeah, that was such a fun scene. And we love that song. That was like such a fun song to sing along to. But it was a fun scene.
What were those what was it like? What were the conversations like with Jen, knowing that a lot of these scenes, I mean, I'm sure you have the conversations with Richard because there are a lot of those scenes, but like you and Jen have a lot of scenes together. There's a lot of kind of chats and figuring out a lot of stuff with the fake IDs. What are those conversations like before you really kind of got into the big kind of portion of the filming specifically?
Well, so Jen and I, we met each other for the first time on this job, but I think because we had a rehearsal before we started shooting, and I think we both mutually felt this way, but when we saw each other do their thing, we were both like, oh yeah, like I watched Jen and was like, oh yeah, she's Rebecca, like she is perfect, she knows what she's doing. So I think when we started shooting, we already built just a lot of trust and support for each other. So, obviously like just checking in that we're kind of on the same page, like if it's her perspective, I'm like, hey, does this seem accurate to Rebecca? Like how she would perceive Zoe. But other than that, I mean, we were along for the ride together.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Is that kind of a misconception, would you say, about being an actor too, where, the audience is in for a ride, right? Like they're watching fakes, right? But so are all of you as well. You know what I mean? You're part of the ride with us. I feel like people forget that too.
No, totally. I mean, the first time Jen and I both read the script fully, we were texting each other like, what the heck? Oh my God, this is crazy. We need answers. But no, as we're filming these scenes too, yeah, we're just freaking out. Like, what the heck?
So Jen has confirmed that she kept her hat, the unicorn hat.
Okay.
I am wondering if you kept the hat that you like. One of the hats, like the white hat. Did you get a chance to keep that hat?
No, I wish I did. Now hearing that Jen kept hers,
I did the interview with her, and it was so funny because she was like, the unicorn hat? I'm like, yeah. She's like, yes. And then she kept looking at someone, and then you'll see that her boyfriend comes running in, like gives her the hat, and she put it on in the interview.
Oh, that's hilarious. I love that. No, I wish I did. I should have. I don't know what I was thinking.
This is more of like a statement about the show, and it's very like vague and not much, but like, and I'm hoping rather, like, it's not a question, but you can like add on to this. I mean, there's a lot of fun stuff that happens in fakes.
Yeah.
Like the show is there's like a lot of different, like the music, the crazy hats, like we said, you know what I mean? A lot of the things. There's a lot of fun in this show.
Yeah, I agree. It's really nice to see like a friendship where, it's, even though they're in high school, it's not just about school. Like you see their inside jokes and like that they, even though they're each like going through something, like they're also able to find the joy in life and like what they're going through.
Yeah. Do you feel like this was one of the hardest shows to do interviews for based on other things you've worked on, because you're literally like being asked about like your character that's in like two different perspectives, where like in one perspective seems to be like the goody two shoes, like everything like, and then the other one where it's like, nope, that's the complete opposite. It's like, and it's like, tell me about your character. You're kind of like, which one?
Yeah, no, exactly. No, exactly. Like, it's hard to, explain Zoe in broad, it's like, well, from Rebecca's perspective, she could be this way. But I actually watched your interview with Richard, and he did talk about this, but it is like that continuity aspect that is really fun as an actor. Like we did get to explore different versions of our characters that like I really don't think you would get the opportunity in any other.
He said that was like a highlight of it. I feel like how it can't not be. I mean, the different perspectives is one of the coolest things. And like, you know what I think they did a very good job is, and maybe I don't know, like I don't think it was advertised, right? Like the different perspectives. Like in the trailer, you wouldn't know there's different perspectives. It's just about people in high school making fake IDs. And then you watch the show and it's like, oh my goodness. Like it does a really good job of like not bringing up. Like it's a nice surprise to see that. Like I had no idea the show was going to be like that.
Right. I think that's like also what was really great. I mean, like I thought the trailer was, it did such a good job in not revealing too much. Like maybe you think you're like, oh, okay, well now I get it. I know what the show is about. But then when you start watching, you're like, never mind, just kidding.
I talked a little bit about like Unavailable, like the soundtrack and everything. When do you start really kind of seeing, like, was it right away, like after it kind of dropped, like the weekend of, basically seeing all the responses to the music, all the responses to all the GIFs and the memes? Like, is it that weekend or was it even quicker? Was it like the day after it dropped?
I feel like it was definitely not immediately. It was like kind of as the week went on.
Okay.
But, I'm like, I don't know how much I should even look. Like, I just did not even go down that rabbit hole. But it's been so exciting just seeing the discourse that's going around and like how people are going back and forth between Zoe and Rebecca. It's what we wanted, and it's great.
A non-fakes question for you here. I mean, there's two things in like TV and film that are really huge right now, and they're kind of like trendy. One can make an argument. It was kind of like a couple of years ago. Remember, like hot sauce was a big trend. Like everyone loved hot sauce and everything. I mean, like genre bending is very big right now, and I think Fakes is a genre bending show. Do you kind of agree with me on that a little bit? Because it's like it's mainly a comedy, but there's a lot of serious undertones with the shows. Like certain characters are doing certain things because of pretty like important, serious things happening in their lives.
Right. I would definitely agree. I think, or at least I think maybe like most people, when they hear comedy, they expect it to only be funny. Mm-hmm. But I think the really smart thing about the writing of the show is how real, in a sense, real it felt, because these characters were all very fleshed out, very complex. And even though, some of the circumstances are extreme and very funny as a viewer, in life we're all going through something. So, you can't really have, I don't know. I always like the more realness with the comedy,
Yeah.
Like,
Oh no, it's a comedy for sure, but I just there's some complexity with a lot of the characters. I mean, mean, there's a lot of perspective.
Yes. That's for sure.
Amelia, thank you so much for coming on Popternative. It was so great chatting with you.
Oh, thank you. Likewise. I had so much fun. Thanks for having me.
CBC Gem in Canada. And the rest of the world, Netflix. It's so crazy to say that, right? Like that.
Oh, still surreal to me.
That's so awesome. You have an Instagram account that people can keep up to date with, right?
Yes, I do. It's just my first name, last name.
Amazing. Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative. For previous episodes, you can catch Emilija Baranac in Fakes playing Zoe, which is available on CBC Gem in Canada. And in the rest of the world, it's on Netflix. Until next time, it's Amelia and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.